Hello and welcome back to another episode of Critical Reactions with your host, Bryan. We're going to wrap up today with a special selection, which is where one of you tell me exactly what it is I need to check out. Today's special selection comes at us from a person from Germany. Hello, Bryan. Please have a go at Ukrainian one-man black metal project Severoth with the song Sunrise Will Come. Originally Sonce Zійде, which is probably terrible pronunciation, but I tried my best. With the final statement, have fun. It will never cease to put a smile on my face. Oh, wrong one. I just got done recording that one. This is a YouTube video, though, an official music video. It will never cease to amaze me when somebody gives me the most abrasive style of music. Like avant-garde jazz. Well, not abrasive. The styles of music I dislike the most. Here's some avant-garde jazz. Here's some noise rock. Here's some black metal. And they follow it up with have fun. And I like that. It keeps things light, but it's a good reminder, I think, that I should be having fun with this. And I think sometimes I take things just a hair bit too seriously, even if I do want to be serious about the arts. When it comes to black metal, I should remember to have fun, and I appreciate it, even if it does seem kind of counterintuitive at times. I don't know, let's dive into this and see what Severoth is bringing to the table today. So really nice arpeggiation in the backgrounds. Bit of a drone synth choir sounds in the foregrounds. We have some sort of chord progression on a synth too. Kind of expanded that arpeggiation out to melody. I have so much fear right now because this is gorgeous and it's going to become black metal at some time. And I'm waiting for it. I'm ready to flinch. I'm so scared. I love this. Beautiful layering. Not a lot of melody, but melodic lines. It's really setting a mood and an atmosphere more than anything else. Here it comes. I like the chordal movement in the back. I like the texture that those instruments are bringing. It definitely feels kind of bright for black metal, which tends to be dark. but the difference in clarity and production space is so noticeable from the intro to the metal. This is very compressed. A lot of the instruments I feel could use a little bit more space. It's going for more of a mid-fi sound where we had a high fidelity approach on the intro. The vocals are really stuffed into the mix. I mean, these are all artistic choices that have history in the genre. But I still have a hard time getting over that hurdle, you know? The twinkling against the oppression of the guitars is a really cool, like, visual though. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that bright uplift. With the guitar, great idea to sort of support that melody line. Back to the blast beats. I wonder if the beginning arpeggiation of this riff comes from the intro. It's also interesting to listen to the guitar chord pattern and feel a bit more darkness in there than the synthesizer parts, and really getting that light and dark mix. It's a nice combo. this is the loosest that we've heard the drums so far, and it's still a rather rigid pattern too. I mean, I know it's black metal, syncopation is not what it's most well known for, but it is cool to see the drums lighten up just a little bit, and maybe even loosen up a little bit too. Presumably bringing the chorus back here. I like the guitar tone here too. It's the part where I think the guitar matches the overall bright and optimistic tone of the song the most. It wouldn't be a black metal song if at least one part didn't have a single panned part of the guitar main melody, main riff, and then widen out to the full sound eventually. Bring it all back together. Yep. Right here at the end, bringing a little bit of extra. Also, it's interesting to hear a black metal drum pattern where there's more cymbal than anything else. Oh, there's more bass kick. 16th note bass kicks, 8th note splash cymbal, and quarter note snare. All right. Yeah, I think I did have fun with that. It was a little long for me. There was primarily really only 3 sections in there, and that made up, I'd say, probably like 9 minutes of the song. Just kind of bouncing back and forth between those three. There's 2 main black metal sections. One was the super aggressive blast beats, double bass kicks section. One had a bit more of a laid back metal drum pattern, but both of those had the 16th note guitar riffs with the synths surrounding it. And then we had the chorus, which kind of brought in the guitar melody alongside the clean vocals and sort of the rockier drum beat. Those 3 sections really took the song in most of the directions. We had that new idea at the very end of the track that I liked, focusing more on a massive shift in the guitar tone towards something brighter and a melodic focus in the composition. There's actually a drum pattern shift is what clued me into this first. So I liked that, like the final 45 seconds of the song. And then, of course, we have the synthesized intro to the song, which took up a good minute and a half, 2 minutes or so. And that was different than the rest of the song. But aside from the intro and outro, 3 sections make up the bulk of this. And as much as I enjoyed elements of this, and we'll get into that, it's still, at the end of the day, a very blackened metal track. And while it has a different emotional atmosphere to it, compositionally it uses a lot of the same tools as a lot of other black metal. And so there's a lot of stuff I think that is artistically good on this, a lot of stuff that I did even enjoy that kind of sit outside the blackened element, but the ways that they kind of introduce more progressive components to that. But it's still black metal. It is still not my cup of tea, even if we got rid of what I think is probably one of my biggest hurdles with black metal is the specific atmosphere, the heavy, dark, nihilistic sound that black metal likes to have. And we traded it out for something very cool. This song is freaking optimistic. Man, I really like this. Now, granted, y'all have shown me some more positive takes on black metal recently. Agriculture, I think, has a different vibe to them. Harakiri for the Sky, they tend to evoke more positive imagery in their atmospheres too. I think there's a third one we've checked out recently as well. It's just that name's not coming to mind for me. But now Severoth, I think I'm going to try to commit to memory to fit in there, because assuming most of the other music aligns with this, it's an artist who absolutely knows how to marry the general composition and production of black metal with a brighter, more optimistic atmosphere. I don't know if I would necessarily call this a happy song. There's still heaviness to it. The blast beats, the 16th note bass kicks, the guitar tone in general, despite the chords that the guitar is playing, it still has this muffled, compressed, gritty tone to it. And that kind of gives the song a bit of a darker edge as well. So there is a groundedness and maybe a rootedness to it and a weight. But when I listen to the melodies, sometimes the guitar gets them, sometimes the vocals get them, but frequently we can hear them in the chord progression, well, not the melodies, but when we listen to the chord progressions too, we can hear this as well as a general positive outlook on everything, that despite the darkness of the production of this song, there is still light somewhere within it. And actually, in this case, it's not even somewhere. The light feels overwhelming compared to the darker parts of this song. And I really like that balancing. I talked about that in the middle of the reaction of having this balance of light and dark in this track. I mean, even just the beginning is absolutely gorgeous. I loved the first couple of minutes of this track, and like I said, back then, I was bracing myself. I knew the metal was going to come in eventually, and I'd say just fortunately, it had a different atmosphere to it, something a bit more positive. The repetition does get to me though. I think that's one of my big things with black metal, but I say one of my big things. I already talked about the overall atmosphere, and I'm going to talk about another big thing, another big hurdle for black metal for me. Black metal is just not my cup of tea. There's a lot of big hurdles for me to get through for me to enjoy it. Um, but yeah, in this case, coming in and hitting that atmosphere and really feeling that balance there, I thought that was fantastic. And for them to carry that through into the vocals even, and bringing the clean vocals in during the chorus, I thought that worked really well, giving the guitar not just constant pedal tone strumming, but occasionally mixing up that pedal tone with a higher note, and the collection of those higher note accents providing melody, and again, melody on the more positive side. They don't sound dark, they don't sound sinister. Those melodies are optimistic about things. And this merger of optimism and the darkness, I think, is a key theme to this song. And I really appreciate it. I can't wait until we get to the lyrics, and I really, really hope this idea pairs with that. I usually have a tough time finding thematic cohesion between black metal's music and lyrics, unless the lyrics are like everything's dark and sucks and like general nihilism, because black metal feels nihilistic and aggressive to me. But if the lyrics do anything else, the music always feels aggressive to me, and the lyrics don't always have to be aggressive. So I'm like, I don't really see how these two fit together well. I'm kind of hoping that doesn't happen here. This is such a very cool blend of music and atmosphere that I would love for the lyrics to lean into that direction as well. Now, I had mentioned that there's another hurdle to this production. When I enjoy black metal, the 2 or 3 times it's happened, it's higher fidelity production. And I was hoping we were going to go in that direction given the intro. The beginning of the song has so much room and space. It feels very open, and I enjoy that. I like instruments to have room to express themselves, to not step on any other instrument's toes, metaphorically, and to be able to have room to put so many layers in and it not feel cluttered. There's different types of black metal production. Not all of them agree with the idea that instruments should have space. And what we get here, I'd say, is probably a bit more towards the mid-fi production. I'd say as far as the guitar and drums go, I can clearly hear what both are doing, but there's still a bit of compression to both of them individually. And it creates a bit of a rough sound for each instrument while giving space and clarity to the overall song. But then we also have the synths on the outside that I feel could use a bit more presence and a bit less compression. I really would like to hear a little bit more of their characteristic tones and kind of have that extra sonic information on them. However, I do appreciate that having that bit cut off and putting that compression on those instruments kind of puts it in line sonically with the rest of the instruments on here. And it probably fits better that way, even though I would prefer the brighter more full tones that we heard in the intro. But this is probably just a case of, to use a metaphor from the visual world, matching your colors so that your color palette blends well together. And I think that's what's happening here, is that sonically we're making sure that all the instruments come together well into the overall atmosphere, because this is, generally speaking, at the end of the day, an atmospheric track. There are melodic qualities, and we do have a couple of melodies, but for the most part, it's about building an atmosphere, building that emotion, and having the listener sit and dwell within and just feel it for such a long time. Melodies would take away from that focus, I think. And, I don't even think it's an I think. It is. When the chorus comes around, especially the first time, I abandoned focusing on the atmosphere and listened to the guitar and the vocals do that duet together. It immediately stole the show for me. And I know I am a melodic driven person. I really prefer melody in my music, and this is something I've talked about in the past, that metal, especially when your vocalist does growling, can kind of deviate away from melody. In fact, I just talked about this earlier today in the Converge video, that I was happy that there was a clean vocalist, because in the past when I've heard Converge, there really isn't a lot of melody, and that's tough for me to get into. I can appreciate the atmosphere, but if I were to listen to it casually, I would want that last piece of the trifecta: rhythm, harmony, and melody. And metal, I think metal kind of has this 50-50 realm, where you can find metal with melody in it really easy, but you can also very easily find metal where melody is just not a key focus. And I feel like black metal has a lot of that. In fact, so much so that when there was melody in black metal, they had to give it its own subgenre of melodic black metal. Uh, you don't have to make a new subgenre unless it's not a part of the overall blanket term, to help people find that specific style of music. So anyways, I appreciate that there is melody in here, and like I said, it does steal my attention. So it's possible if we had more melodic passages in here, I might not engage with the atmosphere as often as the artist would like. Um, but we were talking about production. Um, And oh well, here's a big stickler for me. I feel like the vocals could really use a boost too on this. The cleans are better, but I feel like they're very raw, and maybe that is a purposeful decision on that. Again, trying to bring all of the instrumental timbres together so that they sound like they fit together. But I would have liked maybe just a little bit more punch on the cleans, and the harshes are just drowned out by everything else, which again, I've listened to lo-fi black metal, I've heard vocals like this. It's very much something that some people really like, both as musicians and vocalists who like this sound as their output, but also as listeners, people, consumers, fans, audience, whatever the right word is, who gravitate towards these type of vocals too, where they really just want to engage with the music, and the vocals are sort of the secondary thing. And for the vocals to get swallowed up by the instruments, that's perfectly fine to these people. It's actually what they enjoy in their music. I, like I just talked about, I'm kind of beyond both of those sets, and I really like clarity to my instrumentation. And vocals are an instrument to me. And so I found that to be not surprising, but another hurdle that's difficult for me to get into. But aside from all of these points where this is clearly not something for me, I do appreciate a lot of what it's doing. There is a strong amount of beauty and optimism in here that I hope I've kind of expressed upon during this analysis bit. That I think elevates this, not necessarily towards something I would go out of my way to listen to, but I would not be opposed to listening to more Severoth in the future. Whereas there are definitely black metal bands where at the end of the review, I basically want to say, please don't request this ever again. I'm too polite for that, but but there's definitely some that I just they are not for me at all. And I do find some stuff in here that I enjoy. And it is just refreshing, I think, in general, to have such a positive, beautiful type of black metal. And I'm talking about traditional positive and traditional beauty. There's definitely been some darkly beautiful black metal we've listened to as well, but as far as like traditionally gorgeous sounds in black metal, it's kind of a rarity. And so I'm glad that this exists. It was nice to listen to. Let me dive into some lyrics and then we're going to wrap this video up. Alright, before we hit the lyrics real quick, I do want to make a quick comment about the music video. I thought that it was gorgeous. There's some really nice shots in there with overlapped scenes, particularly one towards the end that I think was of the moon, maybe? And it overlapped the guitarist. It's just a one-man band, the artist. On like a mountain, and when they overlaid, it looked like he was on the mountain, but still, in front of the moon too. I thought that was a really nice shot. Um, and just generally, I think most of the angles that they found of nature, of the forest itself, there are a lot of beautiful shots in here, and I think that pairs very well with the music being as gorgeous as it is, and being as bright and optimistic, and it all just kind of comes together into a really nice multimedia project too. I think the music definitely stands on its own, but I like the imagery paired with it, and I think there's some solid shots in here too. Um, as for lyrics, though, this is all about, I mean, it's very surface level stuff, and I also thank the artist for putting the lyrics in the description. When it comes to smaller bands like this, it's not always a guarantee that they're going to show up on lyric websites. And so I really have to go for an official source, Bandcamp, an official band web page, or the description of the video. And I feel like a lot of bands, as I've been covering more and more smaller ones, just don't supply their lyrics anywhere. And I really appreciate that. Also, double appreciation is that it is in the original language as well as an official English translation. So that helps me out a ton. The song is generally, though, about getting through dark times and always finding, the light on the other side, knowing that it's there and that it will come. And if that's not like almost in a sense the stereotypical concept of hope expressed figuratively, I don't know what is. This is just such an on the nose thematic showcasing of what I felt in the music. And this is just, it's the icing on the cake. The music captures this vibe wonderfully of dark times, but optimism and hope through them. The beauty of the music video captures the beauty of the music, and lyrically, we're just pulling all of that together. There's also a lot of elements of nature in the lyrics too, incorporating parts of the visuals of the music video. It mentions the first rays of sunrise aurora with floating fogs of the morning, as if it's the last time we're walking relentlessly towards the light. I really like that idea. They're not ever going to have to hope for light or hope for positivity again. That once they enter the light, they're relentlessly marching towards it, because it's the last time they're ever going to have to chase this down. I like that. That angle is very nice. Great metaphor there. Talks about feeling the fresh wind and feeling strength from that. The rain gives them water to drink and heal their wounds. But then nightfall takes over and the twilight swallows the world. The wandering wind sings its chanties by whispering in somber woods. So what was a powerful wind is now a whisper through the trees. It says we march to the horizons and raise our hands to the skies and gather a handful of stars there to lighten the night. So still finding light in the darkness there. All of this still through the lens of a nature walk, which I think is just phenomenal. All of this, well, those are the two verses. Then we just have the chorus left. Sunrise will come, and with its own light reveal to us a brave new world. Sun will clear the stormy path. So there could be dark times ahead of us, but the sun will rise. The sun will come, as the title of the song states. This is only temporary. We will get to the other side. What really puts all of this into perspective is the final line of the song. This isn't just a song of hope generically. The final line is Ukrainian sunrise will come, and it puts this perspective for those in Ukraine who are right now still fighting a pretty nasty war. But I think this is a song of hope. It's of strength. It's of courage. And it's a reminder of all the beauty in the country that they're fighting for. It just, everything comes together really well on this. Beautiful track, and a great message. And it's interesting too how much of it feels kind of generic in a way. Like this could be anyone's hope for the future. But then at the end kind of puts that perspective, that one piece of context that makes it a very specific event. I like that. I like that a lot. These are just my thoughts, though, on Severoth's Sunrise Will Come. Let me know what you thought of this. If there's anything that stood out to you, anything that you would like to add on to what I said or correct me on. If you have your own interpretation of things, if you heard things differently than me, put all of that down into the comment section and with any other thoughts that you might have about this song. Above that, in the description box, have a link for Linktree here. Takes you to this little menu here. You can find links to my music, ways to support the channel, a link to the Discord server, and so much more. Above that, if you could, like, subscribe, and ring the bell. I greatly appreciate all three of those. Alright, that wraps it up for today. I'll be back tomorrow, though, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 p.m. UTC as usual. Until next time, remember to be critical, not cynical, of the music you listen to, and have a fantastic morning, afternoon, or evening, whenever you choose to watch my videos.